I should have known a man who kissed like a storm would only ever leave destruction in his wake. Chapter 1. They say vengeance is a blade best kept sharp, and my dagger has been honed with every betrayal. Shadows flicker in the torchlight as I count the silhouettes guarding the building where my hopes rest, my pulse skittering higher and higher. There are no priestesses inside the temple tonight, no devotees of Etta, giving the great goddess their libations and wealth as they breathe in the heavy incense and beg her forgiveness for all their sins. Instead, 26 knights and their 26 direwolves prowl the silent ring of the citadel, waiting for the brave, the dumb, and the desperate, those foolish enough to risk life and limb for the chance to win the gifting. This is the third night of my watch, and the last chance I've got. I left it to the last moment to make my offering. The denizens from the other cities have already made theirs, and tomorrow they'll announce the few chosen by the goddess. There won't be another Retterheld in my lifetime, as there's never been more than one in a century. It's now or never. I've spent the previous 2 evenings tracking their movements, their patterns, watching, calculating, learning. The first night, I watched from the very edge of the wall, noting how long each loop of the temple took, where the knighted guards paused, and how often. And just as I expected, there is a rhythm and a pattern to it. Openings where, if I'm fast, which I am, I'll be able to get into the temple unseen. Last night I had crept closer, finding a small back window left ajar. That's going to be my way in. Sure, there's the slight issue in that the window is at least 12 feet off the ground, but climbs like that don't bother me. When the only way you can get fresh eggs is by clambering up spruce trees and raiding siskin nests, you quickly become a skilled climber. Starvation encourages many nefarious skills. I regret none of my learnings, though, only the circumstances that led me to them. In 3 nights, I've seen 5 people successfully make it into the temple to give their offerings to Edda in the hope she'll accept them into the Retterheld. Men and women who have succeeded in scaling the walls or crawling through the gutters, only to walk or strut out the main door soon after, their fingertips dyed black as a sign of their success. I've seen many more fail, heard their screams, heard their rattling final breaths. They won't haunt me, not when I've already become inured to death. Living in the slums is one long or short death sentence. Not that every applicant to the Retterheld dies. The richest would have already passed on coins to guarantee the healers happen to be nearby. But even if you make it into the temple, the goddess still has to choose you, to deem you worthy. Only then can you actually call yourself a Retling, a name I will get, or for which I will die trying. Another howl, another scream. I wince in sympathy. Mom might have been one of those healers once, standing ready with spells and potions. There had been a time when it had felt like she could heal all but death itself. But when it had come to it, even she couldn't defy mortardom. And now, here I am, in rags and desperation, risking everything for my sister. You can't stay here all night, Rose, I mutter to myself as I catch a shadow creeping along the outer wall of the third ring. If I've spotted the other supplicant, chances are good that one of the guards will have seen them too. I wait for a cry to ring out, but there's none. I'm unsure if I feel relieved or disappointed. 6 of the Hirathean gods have temples within the third ring of Rohelm, but none are as grand as Edda's. It's also usually the most frequented. But for the last week, this section of the third ring has been under curfew. The streets emptied of everyone except the knights and their wolves. Cleared out entirely for this purpose, so that people can make their offerings and volunteer for the Retterheld. People like the man I've spotted in the shadows, dressed in furs and leather and crouching low, trying to stay hidden. I watch, breath held for him as he glances back and forth, then bolts straight towards the temple. Whoever he is, he's fast. Maybe even fast enough. He's moving at such a speed, it's almost as if he's forgotten about the icy moat surrounding the temple. My chest clenches as I realize that's exactly what he's done. He's running full sprint towards thin ice,